session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Let us start the session with the headlines. As usual, let us start with the snippets. The first one, SC must direct Ajit to pick new symbol, all simple words, but for the helping verb. I'm sure you all know the helping verb must. What is the function? Or what are the functions? One, it is used to express a personal obligation or an obligation imposed by the speaker or the writer. And the second one, it is used to convey the meaning something is compulsory. Two women Navy officers begin voyage around the world. There is one important word, voyage. Olden days, this word was very popular, voyage, because that time the transportation to go around the world, they would use only ships. And that time they would use a few words like one, embark. Embark has many meanings. One meaning to start, and usually it goes with to start a journey. Embark on a journey. And another word, voyage. Sail. Sail goes with a ship. Travel across the world using a ship, sailing, voyage. And voyage. And also the word expedition. Voyage, expedition. Voyage could be casual, could be specific, but expedition usually goes with a particular purpose. Expedition, explore something new. We use the word expedition. All are related words you have to know. Let us go back to rather. Two women Navy officers begin voyage around the world. Vance walls clash on 2020 polls economy. It is a debate. Vice presidential candidates, US elections, their debate. Simple words. Net result will be poor doctoral research using net scores as sole criterion is a step back. There is one important word. What is that word? Criterion. If you take English language, we have nouns of Latin and Greek origin. Nouns of Latin and Greek origin are very important from the exam point of view. Why are they important? Usually we change a singular noun to a plural noun by adding s or es. Student, students, bench, benches. But nouns of Latin and Greek origin don't follow that rule. And what are the important examples? The first one, criterion singular, criteria plural. Phenomenon singular, phenomena plural. Memorandum singular, memoranda plural. Alumnus singular. You can say alumni or alumni, either way it is right. Alumnus singular, alumni plural. We have other words like datum, data. Data can be a collective noun. Data takes both singular and plural verbs. And also syllabus, syllabi. Radius, radii. Medium, media. Mediums also correct. Media, usually we say mediums is also right. Very good. Yadav, yes, Charan. All these you have to recollect. Important. ICC Women's T20 World Cup from today. Simple words, not much, nothing to learn as such. Let us go to the main headline. Israel suffers 8 casualties in Lebanon operation. Israel suffers 8 casualties. There's one important word. Casualties, plural, means deaths. Very good. Again, Sharon. Casualties means what? Deaths. Usually we use a word when it comes to accidents, when it comes to war. Here it is war. And this side we have Wangchuk visits Rajghat, says we'll meet top leaders. Simple words. 3 killed as a chopper crashes near Pune. There's one word here, chopper. Chopper, usually we say helicopter. Helicopter, but everyday English or written English, we can also use the word chopper. Chopper means helicopter. And choppy waters, another headline here. Here you can see a chopper. And Indian Air Force helicopter, both mean the same. Helicopter, chopper, one and the same. On flood relief duty, made an emergency landing in a waterlogged area. Logging, no movement, water logging. Upon developing a snag means a technical problem, in Bihar Muzaffarpur district on Wednesday. Healthy monsoon expected to ease food inflation. This year, I think monsoon has been quite good, positive, healthy monsoon may ease food inflation. Ease means reduce tension or make something comfortable or bring down in this context. 3 killed in clashes over land dispute in Manipur's Ukral. Simple words. Clashes, I'm sure you all know. 56 years after IAF plane crash, body of soldier to be handed over to extended family in Chamoli. After 56 years, the body is going to be handed over. 56 years after the plane crash, body of soldier to be handed over. That is in passive voice. Govinda shifted to ward now to be discharged soon, family. Single member panel set up to probe shooting of Badlapur case accused. You all know the word probe. Probe means what? Investigation. Probing nature, trying to find out what is happening in others' life. Probing nature is not a good one, but probe goes with police investigation. There is one important word here. Odisha unveils new uniform color for government school students. Unveil means to make public, to disclose, to divulge, to reveal. Ah, very good. Who is this? Sharon again. I appreciate that. Disclose, divulge, reveal, unveil, to make public. All these words you have to recollect. Search on for man-eating leopard in Udaipur's forests. Man-eaters. Sometimes what happens, tigers or leopards rarely, usually tiger we use the expression man-eater. A particular tiger gets used to human flesh, then we use the expression man-eater. Now there is one important word you guys have to know. What is that word? Cannibalism. Tell me what is the meaning of the word cannibalism? Cannibal. Cannibalism means one particular animal eats the flesh of the same species. We use the word cannibalism. Carnivorous means any flesh of any animal. But one snake eats another snake, cannibalism. One fish eats another fish, cannibalism. One human being eats the flesh of another human being, that is cannibalism. In bank exams, they have given many a time the word cannibal, cannibalism, important word. Based on that, I have given man-eater. Temporary flex board with a missing line from Phule's poem erected at memorial. Something is missing, this is a flex board, but not all the words are important. Based on the word flex board, usually a flex board, it goes with, that's true, Pawan. A flex board, usually it is used, a huge board for advertisement or to convey a message. There are two words you have to know. We use words like, one is American English, first I will write, billboard. And British English, we also use the same word, hoarding. Billboard is American English and hoarding is British English. But the word hoard has another meaning. to store something secretly. Imagine the government says next week the prices of petrol are going to go up, and those petrol bunk owners, they may have the stock, but they put up the board, no stock, no stock, no stock, because they want to sell after 1 week so that they can make money based on the margin. Then we say the petrol bunk owners are hoarding petrol, means to store secretly. That is also an important word, a different meaning altogether. Here, hoarding is a noun and billboard is also a noun. This is like a hoarding or a billboard. Dharavi redevelopment plan, Adani becomes a rallying point for opposition in Maharashtra. Related to politics, Maharashtra elections are fast approaching based on that, against that backdrop. But here you can see this is one particular area where you see all these we use one word. What is the word? Slums. What is the meaning of the word slum? Slum means a place where very poor people, poverty stricken people live, downtrodden people live. In this part of the world, we use the word slums, a backward area where people, the lowest rung, live a particular region that is known as slum. But if you go to Western countries, they have cities and they have certain pockets. They are backward and not developed. For that, there are two expressions you have to know. One is we use a word ghettos. Have you heard of this any time? We also use rundown area. These go with American vocab. They use quite often. Ghettos. Ghettos means backward regions in a particular city. We also say rundown areas. Usually in the US, ghettos and rundown areas are occupied by blacks. A rundown area, very good, Anand. Blacks occupy those, and Indians are advised not to visit those areas, ghettos or rundown areas, because they are not safe. In this part of the world, we use the word slums, slum. Women Dhakis find their own rhythm at puja traditions amid social taboos. A few words. Their own rhythm and traditions and amid taboos. Taboo is an important word. Other words are rather easy. Taboo means a prohibition. Social taboos mean social prohibitions. And rhythm goes with music and also traditions, traditional, conventional, orthodox. All these words you have to recollect. And when it comes to culture, I would like to give a few words based on traditional. A traditional person is one who follows the traditions, obviously. We also use the word conventional. But conventional goes with a different context. And someone follows traditions deeply, seriously, orthodox, very too traditional, we use the word orthodox. We also use the word conservative. Conservative has a negative connotation. We use the expression closed minded. And when it comes to Western culture, Eastern culture, broadly we have two. Western culture, what is a word? An important word you have to know. Western culture is known as Occidental. Occidental culture means Western culture. And Eastern culture known as Oriental culture. Oriental. Western culture, Occidental. Eastern culture, Oriental. What is the basic difference between the two? Western culture is materialistic. Occidental culture is materialistic. And Eastern culture or Oriental culture is spiritualistic. Spiritual, we are all spiritual people. All these words are very important from bank exams point of view. Do remember. Worker died due to food poisoning, not starvation. If you guys remember, Yesterday there was a snippet. Some Bengal worker died due to starvation, lack of food. But West Bengal government says not because of starvation, because of food poisoning. Worker died due to food poisoning, not starvation, claims Bengal. Court of conscience is above other courts, Siddaramaiah. There is one word here. A lot of people say conscience, wrong. No E sound. Conscience. Conscious, like that, conscience. Means something tells you inside, from inside, what is right, what is wrong. That is known as conscience, not conscience. Do remember, and spelling is also very important. Whatever you feel, whether what you have done is right or wrong, that's what matters, not what others think. Tamil Nadu Planning Panel drawing up heat mitigation measures. Heat mitigation measures. We have got the word mitigation many a time. Mitigate means what? Reduce. And mitigate, you have to think of synonyms like alleviate, assuage, mitigate, reduce. All these words should be at your fingertips. Telangana government starts categorizing essays into 4 subgroups. Simple words. LDF MLA bids edu. Important expression. Bid edu means to say goodbye. To say goodbye to someone or something. To electoral politics. Here we have a colorful picture. Sacred Darbar mat and rope handed over to TDD officials. There is one word here, sacred. Sacred, you have to think of words like holy. Also a word like divine. Sacred related to God. Then you have to think of words like holy and also divine, divinity. Sacred place, sacred darbar here, mat and rope handed over to TTD officials. And this is a pic from Telangana, I guess. Girls dancing on the first day of Batukama festival, also known as Engili Pula Batukama in Hyderabad on Wednesday. The floral festival, flora means what? Plants of a region, but floral means related to flowers. The floral festival represents the spirit of Telangana and is celebrated for 9 days ahead of Dashera. I am sure many of you know Batukama festival. It is celebrated on a large scale in a grand manner. So you can see from the picture, you can make out it's so colorful, all flowers. Hydra ordinance gets governor's nod and statutory status. There is one important word here. Ordinance, nod, statutory. First, ordinance, something like an order, related a legal term. Flora and fauna. Flora means plants of a region, fauna means animals of a region. Very good. Who is that? Murthy and also Ramakrishna. That is one word, ordinance. But there's another word, ordnance, ORDNANCE, ordnance factory. They manufacture the tanks used in wars. That spelling is different, this spelling is different. You got to be very careful. They have given in a few exams. Here we have the letter I, ordinance, related to an order. But ordnance factory, that's a different one. You don't see the letter I. Get governor's nod. Nod means approval in this context. And statutory status. There is one important word. First, you have to know that word. What is that word? Statute. What is the meaning of the word statute? Statute means a written law. Statute means what? A written law. From that you get statutory, means legal status. Statutory means legal status. Many times asked in SSC the origin of Batukama festival. Oh, good. That's really good. Let us go to, what time is it? Oh, this is the last one. Pawan Kalyan concludes his 11-day atonement diksha. Atonement means making amends for something that you have done wrong, making amends for changes for something A wrong done in the past, atonement, an important word. Related to adulteration of Tirupati Laddu, atonement. Truck owner tries to mobilize funds in Arjun's name, kin. There is one word here, kin. Every person has a circle, his relatives, his friends, the entire circle of a person. We use one idiomatic expression. What is it? At the time of kith and kin. Have you heard of this any time? Kith and kin. Relatives, friends, all the circle of a person, we use idiomatic expression, kith and kin, an important one. Expatriates, Indians over there in Israel, recall their hours of horror as Iranian missiles strike Tel Aviv. They must have got scared, obviously. A particular place being attacked, those who live over there, they obviously get scared. So expatriate, those who are there, Indians over there. That's also an important word. Diaspora, you have to recollect another word. Now let us go to, it's already 20 past 9. Let me go to the editorial. What is the first one? Inflection point, a point where things change. But I'm not going to touch this one. I will go to the second editorial. Second editorial is all about recently concluded Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir elections. Last time I did one editorial related to elections, and I told you elections anytime you have to have the broad framework. What does the writer, what are the aspects the writer touches? Touches like what are the parties and the date, the venue, the number of parties, the constituencies, how many seats, all these aspects. Now this is about recently concluded. The third phase also over. More or less the same information you come across, more or less the same vocabulary you will come across. In a way, it is consolidation. Let us see how it starts. Healthy sign. What is a healthy sign? Turnout numbers in the assembly polls show distinct patterns in South Kashmir. It is about, the third phase is also over. Based on that, what conclusions can be drawn, what inferences can be drawn. It is about that. Based on that, it starts with turnout numbers, those who cast the votes, turnout numbers in the assembly polls of Jammu and Kashmir show distinct patterns. Distinct means a clear patterns in South Kashmir. What are those patterns? When you read, you understand. One of the salubrious stories of Indian democracy, there is one important word, salubrious. Usually it goes with climate, weather, climate. Salubrious means a healthy, positive and healthy. Health related, exactly, Murthy, very good. And Shreya also, wonderful, I appreciate that. Healthy. Healthy stories of Indian democracy has been, present perfect active voice. It is adjective, salubrious. Has always been the regular and uninterrupted conduct of general and assembly elections across the provinces. What is healthy about Indian democracy? Regularly conducting elections could be at the national level, could be at the regional level, could be for Lok Sabha, could be for assembly. Regularly conducting is a healthy sign of democracy. That's what the sentence means. Jammu and Kashmir J&K was an aberration with no assembly elections which should have been held 5 years ago. Though we have a healthy sign, there's exceptions are always there. Indian democracy shows something positive. At the same time, here and there, exceptions are there. And there's one particular word, aberration. Normal, what is opposite? Simple word, abnormal. Aberration means the same, going or moving away from the normal thing. Aberration, abnormal, we use these words, not following the regular path, going away from the regular path. Jammu and Kashmir was an aberration with no assembly elections which should have been held 5 years ago. Usually Indian democracy is known for conducting elections at regular intervals, but there is an exception. What is that exception? Jammu and Kashmir. Exception, not normal, we use the word aberration. Part of speech, noun. And not should have been held, an important pattern. Answer my question, is it in active voice or passive voice? The work should have been done. It is in passive voice. And what is the function of the pattern should have plus verb past participle form? It is used to express an unfulfilled duty or a neglected action. There are two dimensions. Unfulfilled duty means not completed duty. Neglected action. Imagine the manager gave you some work, you did not do the work, and morning manager was serious. Then your friend may ask, what happened? You look so dull. Then you may say, the manager scolded me. Oh, really? Why? Because I did not do the work. Then your colleague may say, you should have done the work. That goes with unfulfilled duty. Neglected action. Imagine yesterday was the last day to pay the electricity bill. I forgot. Then my friends may say, you should have paid the bill. This goes with neglected action. Should have been held passive voice 5 years ago. They did not do that. Thankfully, this denial of a key democratic process. Deny means to say no, one meaning, to refuse, another meaning, not to provide, another meaning. Here, denial of a key democratic process. What is a key democratic process? Conducting elections at regular intervals. Thankfully, this denial of a key democratic process came to an end because they have conducted recently. After 3 phases of elections were held across the Union territory, and provisionally 63.5% of the electorate turned up to vote. See, here we have turnout. Yesterday I gave turn up, show up, means appear. 63.5% turned up to vote. That is something positive, definitely. This number is marginally lower than the 65.7% registered in the 2014 assembly polls excluding Ladakh. 63.5, here we have 65.7. Slightly lower side, marginally low. Marginally lower than the 65.7% registered in the 2014 assembly polls excluding Ladakh. The numbers could go up. There is one important phrase here, though it is in the plural form, but I always tell students there are 2 phrases you have to know the rules behind. The number, a number. What are the 2 rules? The phrase the number always takes a singular verb. The number has gone up. The number of students has gone up. And the phrase a number takes a plural verb. A number of students haven't come today. Both the rules you have to know. The numbers could go up, increase, but the marginal drop, going down means a decline. Very good. Who is that? The word Sashidhar, decline, dwindle. Yes, you can use words like numbers go up, numbers come down. When the numbers come down, we use words like dwindling numbers, declining numbers. Those are important words. The numbers could go up, but the marginal drop should be contextualized. The turnout in 2014 was a peak ever since the militancy that began in 1987, which had dampened. Dampen means to bring down the spirit of someone, to bring down the enthusiasm of someone. We use the word dampen. His enthusiasm has been dampened by someone. Means what? Brought down by someone. Damp is a separate word. I'm sure you all know the word damp. Damp, first we use a little wet. Imagine the wall, a little wet. I use the word damp, damp walls. More than that, we use wet. Very good, Murthy, I appreciate. And more than that, we use drench. Drenching for a long time, we use the word soak. Soak should be at the end. Damp, wet, drench, soak. This is order. Still, I appreciate Murthy. Wonderful, within no time. Many changes have happened in the last decade. Many changes have happened. Now, before sentence talks about what? The turnout in 2014 was a peak ever since the militancy that began in 1987, which had dampened voting numbers across the province in subsequent years. Because of militancy, the number kept on going down, declining or dwindling. But many changes have happened in the last decade. Have happened, it is in present perfect active voice. Many changes have happened in the last decade. What are those changes? The governor dissolved Jammu and Kashmir's elected assembly on November 21st, 2018. One change. The province lost its special status a year later. Second change. On its bifurcation into two union territories, lost its statehood. Third change. And a significant, important delimitation exercise led to new constituencies. All these are the changes in the last 10 years, in the last decade, many changes. The editorial lists out 4 changes. And constituencies, at the time of elections, I told yesterday also, we use the word constituencies. But the electoral turnout now is still an encouraging number, a positive sign, encouraging number, considering the fact that the turnout in the general election in April-May 2024 was 58.5%. General election, what was the turnout percentage? 58.5. Now what is the turnout? 63.5. Definitely it's a positive sign. Some other distinct patterns are discernible from the provisional turnout figures. Here we have 2 words, distinct patterns, but discernible. Discern means to make out, to find out, to perceive, something that is obvious. Discernible from the provisional turnout figures means something else, some other patterns can be identified. Constituencies such as Sopian, Kulgam, Pulwama in South Kashmir and Baramulla in North Kashmir registered definite increases in turnout when compared to earlier assembly polls. This is something positive. This was largely due to the presence of independent candidates supported by the banned Jamaat-e-Islami and Jammu and Kashmir, Islami Jammu and Kashmir in the south, and Lok Sabha MP Engineer Rashid's Awami Ittehad party in Baramulla, leading to greater contestation. The reason behind the positive turnout, why the numbers have gone up, the sentence talks about the reasons behind. The Bharatiya Janata Party BJP-led union government has worked hard to change the political discourse in the valley and to alter the dynamics of the party politics. BJP worked very hard, it seems, to do what? 2 things. One, to change the political discourse. Discourse means dialogue, one of the meanings, political dialogue, political scenario in the valley, that is one thing, and to alter the dynamics of party politics. But if the contest, the political discourse and the turnout are any indication, the elections haven't been held according to the script envisaged by the BJP. Looking at the ground reality, the editorial opines, the elections haven't been held. Here again we have present perfect in passive voice. According to the script envisaged by the BJP. Script envisaged. Envisage means to visualize, about to say. Envisage the future means visualize the future. Vision, visualize, that is the exact word you have to think of. The electorate has sought to use elections as a means to voice their grievances. Grievances means what? The problems with the president's rule in the province. The securitized environment has dampened political activities beyond electoral campaigns. Again, we have got the word dampened. Lot of security in and around a particular place, you don't feel free, and that dampens your spirit to go and do something. The sentence talks about that. One is they are not happy with the president's rule in the province. Second, the securitized environment has dampened, again present perfect active voice, political activities beyond electoral campaigns. They could not go beyond electoral campaigns. They had to be stopped because of a lot of security in that region. The regional parties have not limited their campaigns to bread and butter issues, also articulating 2 words. One is bread and butter issues. Articulating. Tell me, bread and butter considered singular or plural? Ah, very good, Murli, again within no time. Bread and butter considered one unit. Bread and butter takes a singular verb. And we have another word, articulate. Articulate means to speak clearly. He is an articulator. He articulates the issues extremely well, means to speak in a clear manner. Articulation. Demands for restoration of special status. What are they demanding? They are demanding, the regional parties are not, haven't restricted themselves to bread and butter issues. That means the livelihood issues. But there is another demand. What is a demand? Demand for restoration of special status and a permanent solution to what they perceive to be unending conflict in the province. They are demanding that special status and a permanent solution to what they perceive, what they feel to be unending conflict in the province. The poll results will indicate whether these demands have found resonance among the electorate. Now, at the time of elections, the parties go with a manifesto. They promise something, that is one thing. At the same time, sometimes the parties go to the electorate with some demands. They raise those demands and they want those demands to be met. And if the electorate finds a reason, they resonate, means the electorate also has the same wavelength, then that particular party comes to power. So the sentence talks about that. The poll results will indicate whether these demands have found resonance, means whether the electorate has accepted or not accepted. Resonance among the electorate, but it suffices. There is one word, suffice means to provide. Suffice something means to provide something. But it suffices to say that the elections herald means to begin a new era, start a new thing, herald the possibility of a return to normal democratic politics in Jammu and Kashmir. This shows recent elections, we can infer normal democratic process has been established in Jammu and Kashmir, aligning it more closely with the rest of the country. The rest of the country also elections at regular intervals. Now Jammu and Kashmir elections have been conducted. It only shows that the normalcy has been restored, and now Kashmir is almost part of the mainstream Indian culture when it comes to elections. And like any other state, it underwent elections, and that's a positive thing. That's all about today's editorial. Rather familiar. Why is it familiar? I have done recently. Before elections, I did one editorial. After elections, another editorial. A familiar turf, a familiar context should be easy to understand, but for a few words here and there. That's all for today. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.